Hey guys, um, I've been wanting to go to the boat, cars loaded, and I've been busy doing, odds and ends. But then I got this bad news um, that it's going to prevent me from going to the boat again. I'm going to make this video for a friend of mine, and I'm going to tell you the story of this man that this is what makes a man for the young people that want to know. And my opinion is that all these 30-year-olds living with their parents, they think they're a man and they're not. I'm going to tell you this story. In 1960, I think it was six, this man left our country fleeing communism. He came here with nothing, like we all did. We couldn't bring more than 40 pounds of clothing, one watch, marriage ring, and the women couldn't bring their jewelry. Sometimes they were hiding in their hair, so they would take the hair apart, pull out the jewelry, and take it. So we brought no money. When we got here, we got to Florida first, and then people started dispersing different parts of the country for because the families were elsewhere. We had a debriefing from the government. I don't know if it was FBI or CIA or I don't know. We had a debriefing, and they were asking where the machine guns were, the military installations, and remember that back then there were no satellites, so the United States didn't really know where the stuff was, and all the anti-aircraft batteries, and okay. So once we got that out of the way, they gave my father, and they did this to everybody. They gave him $100, which it didn't cover the rent for 1 month, and they said, "Good luck, welcome to America," and everybody went their own way. Well, this man came to California. I'm not sure if he stayed in Florida. We only stayed in Florida for 3 days. We ended up going to Queens, New York, because my mother's sister is the one that claimed us, and we went to stay with the family and my cousins. None of them spoke Spanish, and we didn't speak English. And we stayed there for 3 months. My father got an apartment in New Jersey. We moved to New Jersey. Okay, I'm not going to talk about my side of the story. I want to talk about this man's story. So he came here. I'm not sure if he stopped any other place, but he ended up here. Now, this guy used to work in Cuba in a printing business. And he was young. He was in his 20s, I think, when he got here. Um, and he knew the machines fairly well, the old-fashioned printers. And there were also machines making paper bags. So when he came here, the only thing he knew was that, right? So he started looking for a job. I don't know if he did some other stuff. I'm gonna talk to his son uh, in a few days, possibly tomorrow. But anyways, he started working in this paper paper bag company, and he demonstrated that he knew the equipment, he knew how to work it, he knew how to fix it, he knew how to tune it, and he was there working there for years. And he one day he was kind of wandering. It's a big place. He was wandering around at lunchtime. He noticed this yard full of weeds, and there was some equipment in there in the weeds. Wheels and counterbalances and kind of stuff, and it was rusted. So he went to look at it, and he noticed that he knew the equipment. He goes, "Oh, I know this machine," but it wasn't complete. It was just pieces scattered. So he talked to the owner, and I say, "Hey, why do you have this stuff out there rusting?" He goes, they're just parts and pieces. If I need something, I'll grab it and use it, right? And the guy says, "Well, why don't you let me buy it?" And then the owner said, "Nah, well, for you know." So he kept asking and asking. For 6 years, he was asking to buy all the miscellaneous stuff. Finally, the guy, they had 6 machines making these products, and the guy said, "What do you want it for?" He goes, it's a hobby. I used to do this in Cuba, and you know. So I guess one day he wanted money. He needed money, or he got fed up with the guy asking, and he says, "Okay, I'll sell it to you." And he bought it. I don't remember for how much. I think it was a few thousands, 4 or 5 thousand, something like that. So he took it home. He cleaned the rust off. He sanded it. He you know got it all cleaned up and cleaned out the threadings and all these pieces and parts. There was a frame there also, and he painted it, but he needed the rest of the machine because he only got parts and pieces. And this is before the internet. Okay, I'm talking now late 70s, around there. Um, he got a hold somehow. I don't know if it was the newspaper, but he met this gentleman from England that he used to do the same job he did, working with the same type of machines. These old fashions from the 1930s, I think they were machines. But those old machines, they last forever. It's all iron, steel. And he talked to the guy. They became friends. And he says, "Well, I got this and that, but I need this other thing. And the English guy, the English gentleman, I'm going to call him a gentleman because he was really nice to my friend. He says, "Look, I fix these machines. I put them together, I fix them, and I sell them. But I don't have nothing right now. I'm going to go to Africa because in Africa they still got this equipment. And also, I think, in India." So when he came back from Africa, he had some of the parts this guy needed. Well, to make a long story short, my friend finally made got everything he needed. He put it all together, and he greased it up and got it, hooked it up to electricity and got it running. and he was making paper bags. He set it up in the garage. So he was still working on his job. He would come home, have dinner, and then go work at the machine until 10, 11, sometimes until 12 o'clock at night, putting it together, tweaking it, because it's a very finicky machine. You have to tune it here, you have to tune it there. The counterbalance and the thing is a clickety clackety clickety clackety clickety, and you see the bags, and they go. And so it was making. I remember that one time he told me that they were making 900 bags an hour. So now his son, which speaks perfect English, he goes out to different businesses, you know, Chinese restaurants, donut places, places where you need bags, and they started selling to these businesses boxes of the bags, right? And he still got his old job, and the kids going to school. So he goes and gets a contract with a, I'm not going to mention names, but he gets a contract for bags for a popular, well-known warehouse that they sell to businesses. And he started doing that. So he would go to work, and at home he would run the machine because nobody else knew how to run it. And he would, make a whole bunch of boxes, a pallet, and then they would take it to the business, and they would sell it to customers that donut places. So he kind of went to the distributor instead of going to individual businesses, because that's a little tedious. He got a little niche there, but he started selling it to the distributors that sells to the businesses. Well, he was doing good, and then he went and got another machine from the English guy. And I haven't. I used to see him like once a year in a Christmas party, and he would tell me some things, but I didn't keep up with the story. But what happened was that he became successful, and it got to the point. He opened up his own little shop somewhere, and it got to the point that he turned around and told the owner of the business where he was working, "I'll buy you out." And the guy goes, "What do you mean you'll buy me out?" He goes, "I'll buy you out. I'll buy you your business and your machines." He made him a good offer. The guy sold it. So now he's got this shop that I did go visit with his existing machines that he had, plus the two that he had in his garage. And then he started adding more and more. And then in the late 80s, he bought this whole warehouse, and he had 21 machines in there cranking out the stuff, and the rest of the warehouse were rolls and rolls. I'm talking about those rolls you see on trucks, on 10-wheelers or 18-wheelers. You see those big rolls of paper? That's the stuff that he was working with. And the way that he would load the rolls, he wasn't using a forklift or anything. This is old-fashioned know-how. This guy would have a little wooden ramp to the two jaws. The roll is like 5 feet, but a little bit under me. 5 feet tall, I think it was 4.5 feet tall. And he will get a bar or a piece of wood flat, and he would shove it in there and wedge it and roll it and roll it and roll it and make it go up the ramp. And the roll had a a pipe. I got a disc here. The roll had a pipe in the middle, and he would roll it up the ramp, and it would land with the pipe clunk, right? And it was off the floor, so the roll can roll easy. And then he will pull the ribbon of paper, hook it to the machine, give it his famous tweaking, and get it cranking. And that thing, which is cranking out 900 bags. I understand that the new ones now, the computerized ones, they crank about 1,200, but it's all computerized. This is all mechanical, and he's doing 900 bags an hour. And so he's got a person working the machine. He's got a woman at the end, and he's taking care of all this machine. And he's the only one that knows how to make these machines work like a watch, because his son never got the hang of it. He learned some with his father, but he was, and this guy was exceedingly, I mean, anal. I mean, this guy was, he could hear a machine going off a little bit. Oh, that needs a tuning. He goes over there and click, 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 he fixes it. Well, this guy became wealthy. He became wealthy, but he was still humble. He was still working every day. He would get up early, 6 o'clock in the morning. He was already there. And he did it by himself with the help of his wife. His wife was doing the accounting. The son was doing the sales and distribution. And his son's wife was doing also phone work, office work, and, everything. The phone was constantly ringing. So then he became so famous in the industry that a big name hamburger firm, I'm not going to say names, but you've been eating there for years, came over and he says, we want to do a contract with you. We're going to give you our territory from Colorado to Hawaii. All that is yours. Give me a price. They gave him a price for the paper bags for the French fries. And they were cranking out the bags with the, the little emblem. And a few years later, the company decided to start pinching pennies and being cheap. And they wanted to reduce the contract. And they told them, take a walk. We don't need your business. Because they really wanted to cheat him. Big corporations are son of a bitches. So he says, we don't need you. And let him go. And they kept working. Well, the sad news that my friend at 86 died a few days ago. He was having a angioplastic, I think it's called. They would put a stem in the heart, or they put a little bubble and they inflate it, open up the vein. And he was doing this for 30 years. I didn't know that. Well, in the procedure, the vein, one of the veins were kind of weak already. It broke. He bled, and they couldn't do anything to save him. So he died at 86, and he was still working. The guy's a workaholic. A workaholic. I remember that he used to go, he loved boats. He would look at boats on the paper. Before the internet, he would look at boats, a recycler, I think it was called. And he found a boat in Michigan on a lake, a big Hatteras, 44 foot, and he bought it. They brought it over, put her in the ocean. He would go out there and turn on the engines. I did too. 454s. They were purring like kittens. But he would never take it out because this guy was very nervous. Let's go to Carolina. Oh no, you crazy. He's kind of like that. But this guy was so responsible for his family, for his wife, his kids, his grandson. They made a lot of money, and he never moved into a mansion. I did a driveway for him, and also a carport for him. and they were satisfied with the house there. They didn't move into a mega mansion, and this guy has buku bucks. I mean, he could have done anything. What he wanted the most was to get up in the morning and go to his business and work it. So now I was planning on going to the boat tonight to stay overnight to go and put everything together at the boat. And again, I can't because tomorrow I gotta go to the funeral. And it's sad that he had to go, but he had a good life. He made it the American dream. You work hard, at a business, your own business, because you can work hard for somebody else. You're never gonna make money. You're gonna make a living. You're not gonna make money. But this guy with no English, barely any English, he had the balls, the brass balls, to start something like that. That he got to the point that he bought his old boss business out. He says, "I'll buy you out. I'll buy you business." The guy couldn't believe it. He said, "What do you mean?" With broken English. And he bought the business. And he kept adding more machines. He had offers to buy him out. He said no. Because the machinery is antiquated. The new company was going to come in with computerized machines and all that. They wanted the clientele. Because this guy sells all over the place. But he told them, the corporation, the Burger Corporation, he told them, "Kiss off. I don't need you," because they were being pinched. They were doing the bags for pennies and they wanted to pay less still. And he said, "No, that's enough." And he walked out of a major corporation, very well known corporation. This guy's got the balls, this guy's got the know how, and this guy is a man. If you want to know what a man is, that is a man that you come broke from another country, that you lost everything you had. You have to turn your back and leave everything behind, like my father did, and start from scratch. Because my dad did the same thing. He started from scratch. He started working, hardly any English. He was taking some English lessons from this German back in Cuba that he spoke broken Spanish, but he was learning some of the words. Anyways, he got here, and on the third day, he got a job, and he never stopped working. Never stopped working. I would tell him, "Hey, why don't you take a week? Go to Hawaii. Go, He started doing that late in life, but he he was very business oriented with a very strong work ethics. I mean, the same thing with my friend that just passed away. These are the guys that make it. These are the guys that they don't have it easy. These are the guys that they go through hell to do what they need to do, not what they want to do. I'm pretty sure they wanted to kick back on a beach and have a daiquiri or margarita or a beer or whatever. They had to do it because of this, for the sake of the family. That's a man that gets up early in the morning and goes to work and doesn't quit. Doesn't quit. And doesn't bitch either. I never heard my father complain about nothing. And neither did this guy. They would handle it. They take care of the business. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it. They get it done. And those are the guys that came over here because they had to. They were running away from communism. And then you got a bunch of asshole socialists over here selling this crap to the kids. Oh, the socialism is good, and communism, they're full of shit. Do what they did, those whole timers, and see how long you're gonna last. How long you're gonna, how quick you're gonna run to mama and cry. But mama is tough too. Mama's gonna tell you, turn you around, get back out there and get it done. Don't come cry babying to me. Go out there and get it done. Because the mamas were tough too. No bullshitting around. You need to get it done. Get it done. You have to do for the family. And that's what a man is. The responsibility. You get a job, be responsible. And the family will be there with you, backing you up 100%. So I am smoking in memory of my friend. I'm smoking my best cigar that I have in my humidor. Flora of the Antilles. And I'm having a drink for my friend Kiki. So he's in a better place now. And God's gonna say, "Oh God, what did I bring up here?" Kiki's gonna be okay. What do you need to fix? What is it? I'll take care of it. I'll fix it. So he, before going into, um, before buying the house, I forgot to mention this, and buying the parts, because he tried for 6 years after this guy. He bought a house, and I don't know how this guy managed to do what he did, but this guy was a go-getter. He didn't sit around moaning and groaning and complaining. He went and got a house in the valley, which is very hot. And this guy had a passion for boats. And I guess being that we're from an island surrounded by obviously water, we like the ocean, we like the beaches, we have beautiful beaches, and we like the water and everything. So he says, I want to make a boat. Well, you're gonna you're gonna make a boat, okay, with no experience. So he started making this boat, and one day I went to visit because my uncle lived in the area, and I went over there, and he was in the backyard, in 80 something, almost 90-degree weather, and he's got the wood shaver, and he's shaving and shaping the bottom to make a keel with marine plywood. Yeah, I still don't know where he got that either, because okay, here's the bottom of the 24. Look at that. Oh man, it's a bad picture. Doesn't really do it justice. Let me make it bigger. And there's the 24. It's a 24 footer. And he varnished it and put windows and everything. That's that's amazing. Good design now that I look at it. Made by hand, all plywood. The guy was incredible. I think Home Depot sells that. But he got the marine plywood, and he had the bottom, the hull already made with runners going across. And so okay, he's building it. One day, I guess a few months later in the summertime, he called me. He goes, Ray, let's take the boat to the ramp. Oh, is it ready? Yeah, it's ready. All right. So I went with him, and we took it down to Redondo Beach. And if I remember right, I don't remember if Redondo had a ramp. I think they had a crane. Anyways, we put her in the water right there next to the restaurants and stuff, and we took off with an outboard motor. I don't know if it was 50, 60. And he was, he gunned it, and this thing took off and had a keel, but very, very slight keel. And we were running, and we were going bang, bang, bang. And I'm going, Jesus Christ. And I said, slow down. My spinal cord is going to pop out of my neck, because it wasn't that it was rough. The water wasn't that rough. It was just the boat was too flat. So we drove around a little bit. It was water uh, proof. It didn't, nothing was leaking. And then we took it back home. Then the next year I hear, I didn't get to see because I just busy with my life, but I hear that he's making a 27-foot boat, and I still haven't seen a picture. I'm gonna ask. I went to the funeral already, and this is the second part. And the kid told me, "Oh, I had the pictures up on the screen. I didn't really remember seeing the pictures of the boat." But he told me, the father told me that when the boat was ready, it couldn't fit through the side gate, so he couldn't pull it out. He already bought a trailer. Uh, I think it was 4 wheels, two axles, and he hired a crane operator to go. It must have been a huge crane to go all the way in the backyard, put the straps on the boat, pick it up, bring it out to the front, and set it on the trailer. And that's all I know about it. I don't know um, if he took it out and how did it go, and nothing. Now I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna wait a while for the pain to go away, and then I'm gonna go visit, and I'm gonna ask to see pictures and stuff, because this guy was amazing. He had so much energy that you couldn't keep up with him. And he was older than me. He's 20, like what, 20 years older, and 18 years older than me. And he had so much energy that he couldn't stop. He couldn't sit down. He had this nervous energy. He's not the type of guy to sit and play chess. Let me put it that way. Or collect stamps, or nothing, no hobbies. He was a doer, and that's why he got to the top. Because I admire the guy. He just would do this and that and the other thing, and he kept going and going. And then he went and sold that house. Okay, I had to stop video because my neighbor showed up, and she gave me this beautiful that I asked for, and she said, "Oh no, I couldn't get." And then she changed her mind. She gave me these decorative railings to put vines in the backyard. So I carried them and I put them back there. So, anyways, this guy, I admire him because this guy was never on welfare. He never asked for money, and this guy was an immigrant with no language, only Spanish. And back then there wasn't a lot of Spanish-speaking people like there are now. He went and he had a dream. The dream first was the boat. He had those done, and I don't know if he actually took the boat out or whatever. But I want to see the boat. I'm really curious about the boat and where he get the design, because he wasn't a designer, but he would love looking at magazine at boats. He would just dream it, And all Cubans like boats. I mean, we like the water. We like boats. I guess like I said before, we're from an island. So again, saying goodbye to my friend Felix, but everybody call him Kiki. Very friendly guy. The one of the workers at the funeral stood up and went to the microphone, and he said that he's never worked with a person such as him. He had a very good attitude about everything. He never got mad about nothing. He would say, "Don't worry about it. We'll fix it. Uh, we'll take care of it, or we'll get it between us. We'll fix it, right?" And he taught him. He said he taught him how to tweak the machines, because he knows. Eventually, he knew that he wasn't going to be here forever. He wanted to pass it on. So he has about 15, 17 employees, plus the family working in the offices, and he's doing very good. And and this is the guy that he told the major corporation, "Fuck off." Kiki, one of my best friends. This guy, I'm telling you, if we had a few more like that, the world would be a 100 times better place than it is now. All right, guys, I'll let you go. I'll see you on the next one.